Claire woke up, gasping for air, her heart pounding like a drum in her chest. Sweat clung to her like a second skin, making her nightgown stick uncomfortably to her body. The nightmare. It felt so real. Her small apartment felt suffocating, the walls closing in on her, amplifying her anxiety. She paced back and forth, her heart hammering in her chest, trying to shake off the lingering dread. The dream lingered, a chilling premonition that refused to fade from her mind. A plane shrouded in fog. Faces contorted in fear flashed before her eyes, and a woman draped in a red scarf, her smile as sharp as glass, haunting Claire's thoughts. Claire shook her head, trying to dispel the image, but it clung to her like a shadow. Just a dream. It had to be, she told herself, trying to calm her racing heart. She had a job to do, a flight to board, and she couldn't let a dream stop her. She glanced at the clock. Almost time to leave. It was time to face her fears, real or imagined. A deep breath. She could do this. She had to. The real journey is about to begin. The airport bustled with the usual chaos, a symphony of hurried footsteps and distant announcements. But today it seemed different. The air felt heavy, charged with an unseen energy, as if something was about to happen. Passengers boarded, their faces blurred, their movements almost spectral, like shadows drifting through the terminal. Claire plastered on a smile, the practiced mask of a seasoned flight attendant, hiding her own growing unease. Each greeting felt hollow, a charade in the face of growing unease, as if everyone sensed the same invisible tension. A shiver ran down her spine, an involuntary reaction to the strange atmosphere. The woman smiled, a chilling echo of her nightmare. A sinister reminder of something she couldn't quite place. Claire looked away, shaken. This wasn't right. This wasn't normal. Something was deeply, unsettlingly wrong. Hours into the flight, the unease intensified. Claire made her rounds, her smile strained. Something was wrong, terribly wrong. Where had that elderly couple gone? They were just here, in row 12. She checked the restroom, empty. Her heart pounded against her ribs. Panic welled in her chest. This wasn't possible. People don't just disappear. She rushed to the galley, grabbing Dawn, her fellow flight attendant. "Dawn, something's happening. Passengers are missing." Missing? Don't be ridiculous, Claire. They're probably just in the lavatory or somewhere nearby. I've checked. They're gone. And the elderly couple, they vanished too. You're tired, honey. Get some rest. I'll finish up here. Claire wanted to believe her. Needed to. But the fear was a cold hand squeezing her heart. This was no ordinary flight. Her nightmare was seeping into reality, and she was trapped inside it, unable to escape. The announcement chime echoed through the cabin. The captain's voice, usually calm and reassuring, was strained. "Attention passengers, we are experiencing some turbulence. Please return to your seats and fasten your seat belts." But the turbulence was unlike anything Claire had ever felt. The plane shuddered, a groan of metal twisting under unimaginable pressure. Lights flickered, plunging the cabin into an unsettling darkness. Passengers cried out, their faces masks of terror. "What's happening?" In the cockpit, the instruments were going haywire. The compass spun wildly as if possessed. The altimeter fluctuated erratically, giving no clear indication of their altitude. Outside, a storm raged, a vortex of swirling black clouds threatening to engulf the aircraft. Shot through with streaks of unnatural purple lightning, illuminating the chaos with an eerie glow. It was as if they were caught in the maw of some monstrous, otherworldly tempest, a force beyond comprehension. "Mayday, mayday, we need immediate assistance," the co-pilot shouted into the radio, his voice tight with panic, hoping for a response that never came. "We've lost all control! We're going down!" The pilot's voice was filled with desperation. Panic seized Claire. This was it, the end of everything she knew. She closed her eyes, bracing for impact, her heart pounding in her chest. But instead of a crash, there was a deafening silence, an eerie, unnatural silence that filled the void. Claire opened her eyes. The storm was gone. The turbulence vanished. The plane was bathed in an unsettling, ethereal light. And then she saw her. Sitting calmly in the first row, the woman in the red scarf. Her smile was a gash of crimson against the pale skin. "Welcome. The real journey hasn't even begun." Claire's blood ran cold. The nightmare wasn't over, it had only just begun. What should Claire do? Please comment and do not forget to like and subscribe to this channel for more content like this.